I can't tell if that's a fire engine, an ambulance, or police. Something in the background, but you might be able to hear that. Hello everyone, I am alive and alive. It's not alive and well, because I definitely can't say well as of yet. I am alive and in a little bit of discomfort. But I thought I would at least make a follow-up video just to kind of let people know. Thank you so much to everybody who's left just really kind and caring messages, people that have reached out to me in the comments from the last video, and people who have contacted me on Instagram and through kind of all the various platforms that I use just to check in. Today is Thursday the 30th of October. I went into hospital here in Kuala Lumpur on Monday, and then on Tuesday morning I had surgery for a kidney stone, which turned into being 2 kidney stones in my left side. I'm in a bit of pain. I'm sitting here with a warm bottle between my legs, just trying to alleviate some of the discomfort. The surgery was successful. They have blasted the 2 stones. One was blocking the urethra tube, which is how I ended up in hospital 2 weeks ago. There's a little bit of a recap here. I've, along with my wife, sold all of our life's possessions, and we've relocated to live in Malaysia. Now, I posted a video a couple of days ago just walking through Kuala Lumpur city centre park talking about this big move. That video's had nearly 10,000 views now. It would be super easy for me just to post that video and disappear, right? And kind of sugarcoat that life when you relocate somewhere is easy, that you just sell stuff and move, and that then life is great. And some people in that video were like, well, what happens if you get unwell? And so I posted a follow-up video to say, I am unwell now. I've arrived here and immediately almost pretty much fell ill. And what that was a kind of severe kidney infection. And I can't remember the name of it, right? I can't pronounce it. My Scottish tongue can't get around it. Hydroprenosis or something like that. But I was admitted to hospital, and they did a CT scan and some blood tests, and they were like, yep, you have a kidney infection and it needs to be drained. And to do that, we need to take you into surgery, and we'll fit a stent, and then we'll think about what comes next after that. So that was about 2 weeks ago. So I found myself immediately kind of getting here and just adjusting to life in a new country. And then I found myself in hospital facing surgery and paying for all of that. And that bill was around £4,000 for that first surgery. And then following that, they fitted this stent and rescheduled me to come back, which was on Monday there, to go into hospital with the surgery on Tuesday, which was to remove the stent, put a laser beam into, where, and blast the stone that was blocking the urethra to allow the flow of liquids and all the pressure that was going on in my body. But then they also had to send another kind of tube in there which went all the way up into my kidney and destroy another stone, burst it into dust. And so they did that, and that's been quite successful. And now I'm in the next phase of that, which is the recovery phase. So in that last video I talked about when I used to go to my granny's house, and she would have in her bathroom one of these like pull cords. Well, I now have that hanging out of me right now, and you can imagine where. It's taped to the side of my leg. The best way I could describe this without you getting all sensitive about it is, see, when you were a kid, right, you had a favourite auntie, and that favourite auntie would buy you soap on a rope, right? If, like, I'm in my 40s, right, so you would get soap on, or you might get jammies, pyjamas, and a wee toy, and soap on a rope. It would be in the shape of like a car or something, right, with a bit of rope coming off the end of it that you would hang in the bathroom. And then after you had used that for a while, it just started to become a sludgy mess. still with the rope on the end of it. That's kind of how I feel right now, which is why I've got this warm water between my legs, just trying to help my little chipolata recover from what's happened with that laser beam. You know, it's not like firing laser beams out, they were firing laser beams in. Anybody who's had a kidney stone before that's gone through this will relate to this. Anybody who has not had a kidney stone, don't get one. Don't get two, certainly don't get four. That's what I've had over the last, next month will be a year. And the last time I talked about this in the surgery, I had a couple of funny stories to tell you. I don't have any funny stories this time round. Well, I had to go see the doctor on Saturday there right before the surgery, and I got in a taxi with this nice man, Asian man, and he was asking me, "Are you going to the hospital? Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got a kidney stone." And he was like, "Oh, what causes that?" And we were chatting, and he was calling me Mr. John, right? Mr. John, Mr. John. Yvonne was with me. Well, on Monday after I get checked into the hospital, Yvonne was with me, and then she had to come back to the hotel, right? And that's where, like when you're away from home and you're doing all of this move away, where do the stresses come from? Well, if you were here on your own and you were dealing with this, that would be quite a lot. I'm fortunate enough I'm here with my wife, and it's still quite a lot, because then when you're separated, we're not used to being apart, we spend a lot of time together. Somebody's in the hotel, somebody's in hospital, and you start to think about that separation. Stressful for Yvonne. She's got to come back to the hotel and sit and think, like, is he all right? And then I'm sitting in the hotel thinking, God, is she all right? And so I went to order Yvonne a taxi, right? And she discovered she couldn't find her phone when we were sitting in the hospital, right? That's the next panic, because your life is on these things, right? Your bank accounts and everything. She's sitting there in the hospital, she's realised she can't find her phone, she doesn't know what to say to me, because she doesn't want to add any more stress to an already stressful situation. But she eventually plucks up the courage and she's like, I can't find my phone. Now I have the Find My Phone app on my phone, right, and we're connected, so I go on and have a look, and it can't locate, it can't locate her device, and I'm like, oh. So I'm trying to stay calm, right, because now I'm thinking, well, now she's not got a phone. But anyway, we're like, I'm sure it's in the hotel, I'll just be lying in the bed. So I said, look, just head back, put your mind at rest, get in the taxi, I'll order the taxi here, it's an app called Grab. So I order the Grab, and she goes downstairs, she leaves, and I'm hoping everything's all right, because now she's in a taxi, no phone, no way to get in contact with me if anything goes wrong. And I'm lying in the bed the night ahead of surgery and knowing that my wee chipolata's going to get laser beams fired into it the next morning. And then I get the text message, she's back at the apartment, everything's okay, phone's there, she's just left it charging next to the bed, so stress is gone. But she texts me back and she's like, you'll not believe what happened in the taxi. It was the guy that you were telling the story about the kidney stone. And so when she got in the car, he was like, Mr. John, is he okay? She's like, yeah, he's fine, he's just getting the surgery tomorrow. And I had been saying to the taxi driver, he was asking me, how do you combat a kidney stone? And I was like, 2 litres of water a day. So when Yvonne was in the taxi, the guy was like to Yvonne, 2 litres of water, 2 litres of water. He had gone home and was telling his wife, I had a Scottish guy in my taxi today and he's in for a kidney stone. And he had asked me, how much does it cost to get a kidney stone treated? And the answer to that is 50,000 ringgit. Now, paid the bill yesterday when I got checked out, and the bill was 63,000 ringgit, which I haven't really done the conversion on total. But I think that's somewhere around £11,000 so far. I've paid to treat myself here in Kuala Lumpur. So when people were asking, like, what happens if you fall ill? Well, you pay to deal with it. Now, people will say, well, if you hadn't left, right, if you hadn't gone, you were still in the UK, the NHS would have treated you. And to that, I would say, I have a text message here on my phone that just came in some days ago, right? It's from the NHS in Northampton, where I'm still waiting to be treated for that kidney stone. I've been waiting now, I think, 11 months total. I fell ill last November, and then I passed the first 2 kidney stones in February, and then I was supposed to come in for treatment on the second 2 kidney stones straight away, and I was called to Northampton Hospital 4 times, and on the 4 occasions that I went to the appointment, they sent me home because they said, can't do it today, we just wanted to check, make sure you still needed the treatment, even though I was called in. So I got a text message on Tuesday the 21st of October which says, Northampton General Hospital NHS Trust, dear patient, this is an important text message from Northampton General Hospital regarding your urology care. We are reviewing the waiting lists and we need some more information from you. Can you please help us by logging onto the link below and entering this 4-digit PIN number, right? So I do that, and then I get this screen here, right, which says, Dear John, our records show that you are still awaiting hospital procedure or outpatient appointment within the urology department of Northampton General Hospital. We would like to apologise for the length of time that you've had to wait, but we know things can change over time. The NHS continues to work through significant patient backlogs, and so to help us best direct our resources, we would be grateful if you could tell us whether your situation has changed by following the link below and taking a short survey. Please note that you may be contacted again separately if you are on a different waiting list for another department. So I click on the form and I enter the details, and what it says is, can you tell us if you no longer need any treatment? And if so, we will refer you back to your doctor. Now, let's cut through the BS of all of that. What does it really mean? I would interpret that in my kind of cynical way, that the NHS, who've taken 10 months to just get me an appointment, are saying there, hi John, are you dead yet? And if you're not dead, have you cured yourself? Because we're pretty busy. So I've spent close to £11,000 here to get treated and kind of try and save myself. And in the middle of all of that, yep, I left the country. I took the decision that nothing was happening in my body. I felt okay. Kidney stones sometimes can sit dormant in your kidney for years. Some people deal with them for years. I've had text messages and Instagram posts from people saying, I had one woman that told me I think she had like 7 in her body right now. To some people they don't cause any discomfort, to others they do. To me, the kidney stone wasn't the issue. It was that I created or ended up with an infection from a blocked tube causing this hydroprenosis or whatever, which is an emergency condition. So I have insurance. I've reached out to the insurance and so far they've said, yeah, we'll have a look at this when you're done with everything. So I've had to pay for everything myself. And now I've got documentation coming out my ears and I'll submit that and see what it gets to. So there's no wee funny stories in any of that. Maybe the chipolata and the soap on a rope stories that give you a little bit of a giggle, but I'm out, I feel okay, I'm having a couple of days to just lie in my bed, and I thought I would at least just tell you what was going on, because I appreciate that people are kind of keeping tracks, making sure that we're okay and following this story, this journey along the way. And I'll sit here and cuddle this bottle that Yvonne will top up regularly for me, just being a great wife, filling this up with hot water. And I'll tell you, every time I go to the bathroom, I've had to rest my head a couple of times on the sink just for the coldness to not pass out. And then what happens next? Today, as I mentioned, is Thursday. On Saturday, I get the joy of going back to the hospital and see that pull cord. Yeah, the doctor's going to pull that, and the stent that's in my kidney is going to snap off and come all the way out. And I'm going to try and not pass out. And then after that, I'm hopefully going to feel tip top and back to normality. I'll update you when all that happens. Thanks everyone Have a great day. Remember, there's just some things you just cannot predict and control, but it's just about how you deal with it in the time, right? And I've gone through the frustrations, NHS text messages, the anger, the disappointment, the rage, the frustration. I've done all of that. And now all I can do is just sit here and eat into my savings to keep myself alive. That sounds dramatic, right? But it's a kidney infection. Have a great day. See you in the next one.